Boss made me her. My name is Daniel Ross, and up until recently, I thought I had my life mapped out. Stable job, a quiet apartment, and a relationship I believed would last forever. But life has a cruel sense of humor. It wasn't fate or chance that unraveled me. It was my boss. I'm 26, a junior analyst at Whitmore and Associates, a financial consulting firm in the heart of the city. My days are filled with spreadsheets, client calls, and endless deadlines. I wasn't the type to draw attention. I preferred keeping my head down, doing my work, and quietly climbing the ladder. At least, that's who Daniel was supposed to be. But Daniel had secrets. It started years ago, back in high school, when I first tried on one of my sister's skirts out of curiosity. The thrill, the confusion, the sudden rush of recognition, it was like catching a glimpse of a stranger in the mirror who somehow felt more like me than I ever had. That part of me never went away. I buried it, locked it tight beneath layers of responsibility and fear, but it never stopped pulsing under my skin. Now, as an adult, crossdressing was my unspoken habit. Not out of rebellion, but as an escape, a way to breathe when the world felt too heavy. I wasn't out. No one knew. Not my coworkers. Not my friends. Not even Emma. Especially not Emma. Emma had been my girlfriend for 3 years. She was beautiful, grounded, someone who believed in stability. She dreamed of marriage, kids, a white picket fence kind of life. And I loved her, truly I did, but the idea of telling her about this secret part of myself terrified me. What if she looked at me differently? What if she saw me as less of a man? So I hid it. I told myself I'd keep it under control. I convinced myself I could live 2 lives, Daniel by day, someone else in the secrecy of night. But then came my boss, Victoria Lane. Victoria wasn't the type of woman anyone forgot. She was tall, commanding, with a sharp sense of fashion and a sharper tongue. Everything about her screamed authority. The way her heels clicked against the office floor, the way her gaze could slice through excuses, the way her smile carried more threat than comfort. People both feared and admired her. And she noticed everything. I had managed to keep myself invisible at work, but Victoria had a way of making invisibility impossible. She'd call on me during meetings, scrutinize my reports, push me harder than anyone else. At first, I thought it was just her management style. But one late evening changed everything. It was after 9 p.m. The office was deserted, the city lights glowing through the floor-to-ceiling windows. I had stayed behind to finish a report when I made the mistake of slipping into something I kept hidden in my bag, sheer pantyhose beneath my slacks. Just for the comfort. Just for the feeling. It was harmless, I told myself. No one would know. But Victoria came back. I froze when her heels echoed down the corridor. She walked past my desk, then stopped. Her eyes dropped for just a moment, and in that instant, I knew she had seen. The outline. The faint shimmer. Something no one else would have noticed, but she did. Her lips curled into the smallest smirk. She said nothing, but her gaze lingered just long enough to make my stomach flip. Then she moved on, as if nothing had happened. I couldn't sleep that night. The next morning, Victoria called me into her office. Her office was as intimidating as she was: dark wood, leather chairs, shelves lined with books that looked untouched. She gestured for me to sit. "Daniel," she said, her tone deceptively casual. "You've been working hard, dedicated, loyal." Her eyes gleamed with something that wasn't admiration. "But I think there's more to you than meets the eye." My throat tightened. I don't know what you mean." "Oh, I think you do." She leaned forward, her perfume sharp and intoxicating. "See, I pay attention to details. And I saw something last night that told me you've been keeping secrets." Heat crawled up my neck. "It's not what you think." "Relax," she interrupted, a sly smile tugging at her lips. "I don't judge. In fact, I find it fascinating." I gripped the armrest of the chair, my pulse racing. Victoria's smile widened. "You want to keep your little secret safe, don't you? Well, lucky for you, I can help. But secrets," she paused, tilting her head, "come at a cost. That was the moment everything changed. I walked out of her office shaken, unsure whether she was bluffing, whether she truly knew, or whether she'd actually use it against me. But one thing was certain. She had power now. Power over me. At home, Emma noticed my unease. "You've been distracted lately," she said, curling beside me on the couch, her head resting on my shoulder. "Work stress?" "Yeah," I lied. "Just deadlines." She smiled, trusting me completely. And that trust hurt more than anything. If she knew the truth, not just about Victoria, but about me, would she still smile at me like that? I kissed her forehead and told myself I'd find a way out. But deep down, I already knew Victoria wasn't going to let me go. And my secret life was no longer mine alone. The next few days after the dreamlike moment in my boss's office felt strangely heavy. Work itself went on as usual, endless emails, staff reports, tense meetings, but every time I glanced at Ms. Harrington, I could feel her gaze on me, almost like she was studying me. I wasn't sure if it was paranoia or if she really was testing me after what she'd said about suits not being the only thing I looked good in. At home, Emma noticed I was quieter than usual. She'd catch me staring into space, lost in thought, my fingers tracing my jawline as if I was checking for softness. She teased me about working too hard, but I couldn't tell her the truth, that my boss's words had unsettled me in ways I didn't want to admit. On Friday, everything shifted. Ms. Harrington summoned me to her office at the end of the day. "Close the door, Daniel," she said, her voice smooth but commanding. I obeyed, my heart pounding. She handed me a sleek black shopping bag with glossy handles. "I want you to take this home for the weekend." I frowned. "Is this work material?" Her smile was unreadable. "You'll find out soon enough. Consider it an assignment." I carried the bag out of the office like it was radioactive. Emma noticed it the second I got home. "What's in the bag?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. Something for work," I muttered, rushing into the bedroom before she could peek. When I finally opened it, my breath caught. Inside were delicate fabrics, silk, lace, something soft and feminine. A pale pink dress lay folded neatly, along with a wig styled into smooth waves and a compact makeup kit. I just sat there staring, my pulse roaring in my ears. All night, I wrestled with the decision. Ms. Harrington hadn't said what I was supposed to do, but the implication was clear. She wanted me to try this on. By midnight, when Emma had drifted to sleep, curiosity got the better of me. I locked myself in the bathroom, trembling as I held the dress up against my body. The fabric felt impossibly soft, whispering across my skin. Piece by piece, I slipped into the outfit. The dress hugged me in ways my suits never had, cinching at the waist, flowing at the hips. The wig, when I pulled it over my cropped hair, transformed me instantly. My reflection was shocking. My face looked softer, framed by long hair. With a touch of foundation and lipstick from the kit, I barely recognized myself. For the first time, I wasn't Daniel the assistant. I was someone else. Someone I couldn't name yet. My heart thundered with equal parts thrill and dread. What was I doing? If Emma woke up, if she saw me like this. The bathroom door creaked. "Daniel?" Emma's sleepy voice called from the hallway. "Are you still awake?" I panicked, grabbing the towel and draping it over myself, trying to hide the pink fabric beneath. Yeah, just brushing my teeth." There was silence, then the sound of her footsteps retreating. My chest ached with adrenaline. That was too close. I stripped out of the clothes, carefully folding them back into the bag, but as I did, a strange ache tugged at me. A part of me hadn't wanted to take them off. The next few nights, I found excuses to stay up late working. Really, I was sneaking into the bathroom again, slipping into the dress, experimenting with makeup, practicing a softer voice in whispers. Each time I looked into the mirror, I felt a strange mix of exhilaration and fear. Was this who I really was? Or was I just losing control because of my boss's influence? At work, I couldn't meet Ms. Harrington's eyes. She seemed to sense it, her lips curving in a knowing smile whenever our gazes met. It was as if she knew what I'd been doing in secret. By the end of the week, the situation escalated. Emma announced she'd be going out for a late dinner with friends. I told myself I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't touch the bag again. But the second the door closed behind her, I was already pulling out the dress. This time, I didn't stop with just the outfit. I perfected the makeup, adjusted the wig, slipped on a pair of heels I'd found tucked in the bottom of the bag. When I stood in front of the mirror, the person staring back wasn't Daniel anymore. For a fleeting moment, I felt beautiful.
Free.
Then came the knock at the door. The knock thundered again, louder this time, echoing through the quiet apartment. My blood ran cold. Emma wasn't due back for hours. No one ever visited me unannounced. I froze in place, trembling in the pink dress and heels, makeup still fresh on my face. My reflection in the hallway mirror looked like a stranger, too fragile, too exposed. Another knock. And then a voice. Daniel? It's Ms. Harrington. Open up. I nearly collapsed. My boss. Here.
Now.
My first instinct was to rip off the wig, scrub off the lipstick, change back. But it was too late. Her voice was firm, expectant. If I made her wait, she'd only get suspicious. Shaking, I cracked open the door just a few inches. Her eyes flicked over me instantly, sharp and amused. Well, she said softly, pushing the door open before I could resist. I see you accepted your assignment. I backed away, heart hammering. Ms. Harrington, this isn't what it looks like. Oh, it's exactly what it looks like. Her smile widened. And it looks perfect. She circled me slowly, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. I felt like prey under her gaze. Do you know why I chose you, Daniel? She asked, brushing a strand of the wig from my cheek. Because you have potential. Potential to be more than the stiff, invisible little assistant you play every day. I swallowed hard. This isn't me. I was curious. Her laugh was low and cutting. Denial doesn't suit you. Look at you. She spun me gently toward the mirror. Tell me you don't see her staring back. I looked, and hated myself for not being able to answer. That's when the sound of keys rattled at the door.
Emma.
Panic surged through me. I spun toward Miss Harrington. You have to leave. But she only arched an eyebrow.
Or.
I stay. And we see how your girlfriend reacts. The door opened, Emma stepping in with a bright smile that froze instantly when she saw me. Her eyes widened, darting from the wig to the lipstick to the heels. Daniel? Her voice cracked. I couldn't breathe. Emma dropped her purse, staring as if I'd shattered her entire world. What is this? What are you doing? Before I could answer, Ms. Harrington stepped forward smoothly. Your boyfriend was simply fulfilling an assignment. For me. Emma turned, stunned. For you? What the hell is going on here? I felt my knees weaken. Trapped between the two women, my shame and fear crashed down like a tidal wave. Emma, I can explain, I pleaded. I didn't mean for you to find out this way. But Emma's expression twisted between betrayal and hurt. Ms. Harrington laid a hand on my shoulder possessively, her nails grazing my skin. You should be proud of him, Emma. Not many men could embrace what he's capable of. But he needs guidance, structure, someone who sees what he can become. Emma recoiled. You're insane. He's mine, he's Daniel. Not your little puppet.
Her words struck me deep.
Puppet.
Was that what I was becoming?
Ms. Harrington leaned closer, whispering in my ear so only I could hear. Choose.
Her or me.
But know this, one offers you comfort, the other offers you transformation. My entire body shook with the weight of the choice. As if on cue, the wig slipped slightly, tilting crooked on my head. Emma gasped, covering her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. The image in the mirror, half Daniel, half something else, looked grotesque and beautiful all at once. The wig, the makeup, the dress, all of it felt heavier than ever. Symbols of everything I was hiding, everything I couldn't admit. Emma's voice trembled. Daniel, please tell me this isn't who you are. Ms. Harrington's hand tightened on my shoulder. Tell her the truth. The room spun with tension, my breath shallow, heart pounding louder than the silence that followed. And just as I opened my mouth, a sudden knock echoed again. Fierce, demanding. A neighbor? A colleague? Someone else entirely? Emma's head snapped toward the door. Ms. Harrington only smiled, her grip unyielding. And I couldn't move.
Couldn't breathe.
Because whoever was outside was about to change everything. The pounding at the door grew louder, more impatient. Each knock rattled through me like a hammer striking bone. Emma stood frozen, arms wrapped tightly around herself, her tear-filled eyes darting between me and the door. "Who is that?" she whispered. Ms. Harrington tilted her head, a knowing smirk tugging at her lips. "Why don't we find out?" "No," I blurted, panic flooding me. "You can't, don't open it." But Emma was already moving, shaking her head as though she needed answers, any answers, to make sense of the nightmare unraveling before her. I lunged forward, heels slipping against the floor, nearly falling as I grabbed her wrist. "Emma, please. Just don't." She looked at me then, really looked, the mascara smudged around my eyes, the lipstick slightly smeared, the wig clinging crookedly. Her face twisted with pain. "I don't even know who you are right now." The knocks became fists pounding, urgent. Whoever was on the other side wasn't leaving. Ms. Harrington's voice cut smoothly through the chaos. "Open the door, Emma. Let's bring the truth fully into the light." Emma hesitated, torn. My grip loosened as dread hollowed my chest. She turned the knob. The door creaked open a few inches, revealing only shadows in the hall. A voice drifted in, deep and commanding. "Daniel, it's time." My blood froze. Emma stiffened, her knuckles white on the doorknob.
Who is that?"
I shook my head violently. "I don't know. I swear I don't." But Ms. Harrington's smile only widened, her eyes glittering with a secret. "Oh, Daniel knows. He just doesn't want to admit it." Emma shoved the door closed again, slamming the lock into place, breathing hard.
"No."
"No more secrets. No more games. You're going to tell me what's happening right now, Daniel." Her voice cracked, the sound tearing through me. Ms. Harrington stepped forward, folding her arms.
"Tell her."
"Or I will." The silence was unbearable. My throat burned with words I couldn't force out. Emma's face contorted with anger and heartbreak. "If you can't tell me, Daniel, then maybe I don't even want to know." She grabbed her purse, hands shaking, and rushed toward the door. I staggered after her, heels clicking desperately against the floor. "Emma, wait. Please, don't go." She spun, tears streaming down her face. "Then tell me who you are. Tell me why your boss is here, why you're dressed like this, why there's someone outside our door asking for you." Her voice cracked with devastation. "Tell me why I feel like my life just got stolen right out from under me." The words hit me harder than any slap. Stolen. That's what it felt like, for both of us. Ms. Harrington stepped between us smoothly, her presence commanding, almost predatory. She placed a hand on my chin, tilting my face up. "The truth is simple, Emma. Daniel isn't who you thought he was. He's mine now." Emma recoiled as though struck, her sob echoing through the room. I tried to speak, to deny it, but no words came. And then, the pounding at the door returned, harder than ever. This time, the voice was sharp, demanding, almost impatient with fury. "Open the door, Daniel, or we'll open it for you." The three of us froze. Emma trembling, clutching the strap of her purse. Ms. Harrington standing tall, almost expectant. And me, caught between two women, my double life collapsing in on itself. The wig felt like a crown of shame. The heels like chains. The lipstick like a mark I couldn't scrub away. I was Daniel. I was her. I was no one at all. The door rattled again. Whoever was out there wasn't going away. Emma whispered, broken and terrified. "Daniel, what did you do?" And I couldn't answer. The lock clicked. Slowly. Deliberately. My chest seized as I realized. It wasn't Emma. It wasn't me. Someone else had the key. The door creaked open, the shadow of a figure spilling into the apartment. Ms. Harrington's lips curved into a sharp smile. Emma's gasp cut the air. And I stood paralyzed, Painted, dressed, exposed. On the edge of a choice I might never escape. The screen would fade here, with narration pressing into silence. What would you do if your boss owned your secret, your girlfriend was slipping away, and a stranger was at your door, holding the key to your life? Would you run, confess, or surrender? Comment below what choice you'd make, because Daniel doesn't have long to decide.